Wheeler has never once explained himself with words when a gun would do it faster. He does not carry hardware because a script told him to look tough. He carries exactly what a real Montana ranch foreman, who trusts almost no one and needs to handle almost everything himself, would actually reach for. Every piece he carries across this show is a real, purchasable firearm, not a fictional prop dreamed up for the camera. And today, we are pricing out what it would actually cost you to build his exact loadout, piece by piece, dollar for dollar. Hello and welcome back. This is the show where we take the guns your favorite characters carry and tell you what they would genuinely cost, whether you could legally own one, and whether they are actually worth chasing down for your own collection. We are not just talking trivia here. Every price and every legal note in this video is something you could actually use if one of these three guns catches your eye by the end. Show overview. Rip Wheeler is the Dutton Ranch's enforcer, the man John Dutton sends when a problem needs to disappear quietly and permanently. He carries himself like someone who has spent his entire adult life on horseback and in gunfights, never the fastest draw in the room, but always the one still standing when it is over. That character red comes through in his gear as much as his silence. Nothing he carries is flashy or tactical for the sake of looking tactical. Every piece reads as something a working ranch hand, who also happens to be a Dutton family fixer, would have picked for a genuine reason. The show itself has become one of the most watched dramas on television, built around a family fighting to hold onto their land, against developers, rival ranchers, and their own worst instincts. Part of why it resonates so widely is exactly this kind of authenticity in the small details. The horses, the cattle work, and yes, the guns are all treated with a level of respect that most modern westerns skip entirely. Rip in particular reads as a man who inherited his gear the same way he inherited his loyalty to the ranch. Practical, proven, and never chosen for show. The show's creator has talked openly about wanting the ranch itself to feel like a real working operation rather than a backdrop. And that same instinct clearly extended to the armory, since nothing Rip carries would look out of place in an actual rancher's gun safe. Apart from the one exception we will get to last, we are covering three of his most recognizable pieces across the series: his everyday sidearm, his shotgun of choice for close-range trouble, and the rifle he reaches for out in open country. RIP's sidearm, the Kimber 1911. Rip's everyday carry gun is a Kimber, a compact 1911-style pistol chambered in .45 ACP, and across different seasons the production has used both the Custom 2 and the higher-end two-tone Ultra CDP2. Either choice tells you the same thing about the character. A 1911 platform traces back to a design John Browning finalized in 1911, and it remains one of the most respected handgun actions ever built. Old, proven, and unapologetically simple. No polymer frame, no modern bells and whistles. Just a design that has worked reliably for well over a century and asks the shooter to actually know what they are doing with it. Both variants typically hold 7 or 8 rounds of .45 ACP in the magazine, noticeably less than the 15 to 17 rounds a modern polymer pistol would carry, which is another quiet character detail. Rip is not the type to lean on volume of fire. He trusts precision over spray. For a character who grew up doing hard, dangerous work with his hands, carrying a gun that demands real proficiency instead of forgiving sloppy technique fits perfectly. And the heavy, slow-moving .45 ACP round it fires has always had a reputation for ending a fight in as few shots as possible, which suits a man who does not waste motion on anything. The real gun itself is genuinely excellent and genuinely attainable. Kimber built its name specifically on refining the century-old 1911 platform with tighter tolerances and better out-of-the-box accuracy than most competitors. And the Custom 2 sits at the more affordable end of their lineup, typically running somewhere in the range of $900 to $1,100 depending on where you find it. And it is widely available at almost any gun shop that carries 1911s. The Ultra CDP2, the compact two-tone version, seen in later seasons complete with night sights and a bobtail grip, runs meaningfully higher, usually somewhere between $1,300 and $1,600, since you are paying for the tighter compact build and the added carry features. Neither one requires anything beyond a standard background check in most states, no special permits, no waiting on a rare import. This is the one piece of Rip's kit you could realistically walk out of a shop with today. Verdict: this is the most obtainable item on the list and honestly the one most worth actually owning if you want a serious, no-nonsense carry gun rather than just a prop replica. If you already carry a modern polymer pistol and have never handled a 1911 style trigger, This is genuinely worth a range trip on its own. The single action pull is a different experience entirely. And it is a big part of why this platform has refused to disappear for well over 100 years, despite dozens of newer designs trying to replace it. RIP's shotgun, the Mossberg 5.9. RIP's shotgun, the Mossberg 5.9. Oh, when things go loud and close, Rip reaches for a Mossberg 5.9. Oh, a pump-action 12-gauge with an extended 8-round magazine, seen prominently during one of the show's most violent sequences as he clears a militia compound room by room. The 5.90 is a genuinely smart choice for that scenario, and not just because it looks imposing on camera. It is a militarized variant of Mossberg's legendary 500 series, built with a heavier barrel and reinforced components specifically to survive hard use. Exactly the kind of tool a ranch that regularly deals with predators, trespassers, and worse would actually keep in a truck or attack room. The 5.90 variant specifically was designed to meet military specification testing, and a closely related version has actually seen service with the United States military as an adopted combat shotgun, which tells you everything about how seriously this platform is built to hold up under abuse. With the extended tube seen on screen, you are typically looking at 8 rounds of 12-gauge on tap before a reload, and most owners load these with buckshot for defensive use, which delivers devastating close-range stopping power without the over-penetration concerns a rifle round can carry through walls. Here's the good news for anyone wanting to build this exact piece of the loadout. The Mossberg 5.90 is one of the most affordable, most widely stocked shotguns in the entire American market. Depending on the exact configuration, bayonet lug, extended magazine tube, and barrel length, you are typically looking at somewhere between $600 and $800 brand new, with plenty of well-cared-for used examples running noticeably less. Pump-action shotguns also remain popular precisely because they almost never fail to cycle, regardless of what ammunition you feed them. Unlike some semi-automatic platforms that can be picky, which matters a great deal if the gun is genuinely going to sit ready for years at a time, rather than get regular range trips. There is no special licensing required beyond the standard background check, and unlike some of the more exotic guns we cover on this channel, you will not struggle to find one in stock at your local shop. Verdict? This is the easiest and cheapest gun on Rip's entire loadout to actually own, and arguably the most practical too. A genuinely great choice for home or ranch defense that plenty of real-world owners already trust for the same reasons the show's armorers picked it. If you are shopping for a first defensive shotgun and keep getting pulled towards something flashier, this is worth remembering. The guns that actually get trusted with someone's life tend to be the boring, proven ones, not the ones with the most attachments bolted on. RIP's rifle, the Blaser R8, now for the one that surprises people. Out in open country, Rip is seen carrying a Blaser R8 Black Edition, a German-engineered straight pull-bolt action rifle, and this is where the loadout goes from working man's tools to something genuinely upscale. Blaser has built its reputation over decades, supplying serious hunters and, frankly, a fair amount of European aristocracy, with rifles that prioritize speed and modularity over the traditional lever guns most American ranch shows default to. The platform is offered in calibers ranging from small varmint rounds all the way up to dangerous game cartridges capable of stopping something like an African buffalo, which is a staggering range of versatility for a single receiver. The R8 uses a radial locking bolt system instead of a traditional rotating bolt, letting the shooter cycle a follow-up shot dramatically faster than a standard bolt gun, without ever lifting the rifle off target. It is also fully modular, built so the barrel, bolt head, and even the caliber itself can be swapped on the same receiver, turning one rifle into what is effectively several different rifles depending on what barrel is attached. It is a striking choice for a production to make, since a Winchester lever gun would have been the more expected, more traditionally Western pick, which makes this feel like a deliberate decision to give Rip something a little sharper and more precise than the rest of the ranch's gear. This is also where the price tag stops matching the rest of Rip's supposedly humble ranch hand image. A base Blaser R8 package typically starts somewhere north of $4,000 before you have added glass, and a fully kitted example with premium wood, a quality scope, and a second barrel in another caliber can climb well past $10,000 without much effort. It is a fantastic rifle, genuinely one of the most respected hunting actions in the world, but it is not remotely a ranch hand's rifle in real life. It is the rifle of someone with serious disposable income who happens to also know how to use it. Availability is not an issue. Any dealer that carries premium European rifles can order one, but your wallet is going to notice this purchase in a way the other two items on this list never will. Verdict: gorgeous, genuinely excellent engineering, And the one gun on this list where the character's blue-collar, hardworking ranch hand image and the actual real-world price tag stop lining up completely. If you are a serious hunter who already knows you want a rifle for life, rather than a starter gun, the R8's modularity actually makes a real financial case for itself over time, since one receiver can carry you through several calibers instead of buying a whole new rifle every time you want to chase a different animal. But if you are just getting into hunting, there are excellent bolt guns that will serve you just as well for a fraction of the cost. So there it is. Rip Wheeler's real-world loadout. One gun almost anyone could reasonably add to their own collection this weekend, one that belongs on every practical shortlist for home defense, and one that only makes sense once you remember this is still television and not an actual ranch hand's paycheck. Add it all up, and the full loadout lands somewhere between roughly $1,500 at the low end and well over $12,000. Once you include a fully optioned Blaser, which is honestly a fun detail in itself, since it means the gap between Rip's cheapest gun and his most expensive one is nearly 10 times over. None of the three require anything exotic on the legal side, standard background checks across the board. Though, as always, you should double-check your own state's specific rules before buying anything, since availability and waiting periods can shift depending on where you live. If there is another character's loadout you want priced out and broken down the same way, drop it in the comments. I read every single one of them. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you want these breakdowns as they come out, and share this with anyone who watches this show and has ever wondered what Rip's gear would actually cost them. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.